I wondered what could I do that men do that would put me in a position so that I could have money too. Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras Nest. For those who are here and new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. So today's minimalism video is actually going to be unpacking this notion that men just have money. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo. So I had a subscriber actually make a comment on something that I said. I said that men just have money. I kind of feel like a man, you know how like a man is just there to hustle for the coin and they just like, men have money. It's like, yeah, because they're not spending it on so much makeup. And this was in relation to my video on makeup rehab and how not having bought so much makeup gave me the ability to have a lot of money saved. And so I was like kind of sort of joking, but not really. And I was kind of like, I can understand why sometimes men feel or seem like they have a lot of money as opposed to women because, you know, we spend it on handbags and on like luxury makeup. And that's just something that is of my own personal journey that has actually been a very big part of my minimalism. And I thought that I would unpack it in this video because I think that that can give somebody else a different perspective on how I have used my minimalism to put myself ahead financially. That unfortunately there was a lot of feminine things that I decluttered to be able to put myself ahead financially, and as I don't know if that's sad or I don't know if that can be enlightening or if that could help anybody else out, but if you are curious what my thoughts are, I'm going to be sharing 5 points. And okay, so the first point is buying less makeup. Among one of the big core things that was very fundamental to my minimalism journey compared to who I was before I was a minimalist was the relationship I had with makeup. I've always spent a lot of money on makeup, and it was only because of my minimalism journey that I experimented with having less makeup or not wearing makeup, or I guess questioning the whole narrative that makeup is an obligation or a female obligation as opposed to maybe just a choice. Like, I don't have to wear makeup, like that is a choice. I could have the choice to not wear makeup, and that might sound ridiculous to some people, but really before I became a minimalist, I didn't know that was a choice. I thought you had to wear makeup, or at the very least I thought that if you didn't wear makeup you would be considered ugly, and I just didn't want to go back to being ugly because I have experienced what it's like to not be pretty and not have the privileges that came with being pretty. So that is something that I am definitely unpacking with myself. But I guess also one of the things that I noticed was that when I spent less money on makeup, I had a lot more disposable income, and I started to kind of feel jealous towards men where I felt like a lot of men don't have to spend money on makeup, and that's just money that they can pocket. Like, they don't have to spend that beauty tax. So for me, I just kind of started to have this thought process that like, well, no wonder men have so much more money than women. They just don't have to spend it so much on like beauty tax. And I say makeup, but I mean maybe like dyeing your hair, buying nice clothes, getting your nails done, whatever it is, those like high maintenance behaviors. I was kind of jealous that men didn't have to partake in those things. I was coming from a place of, I guess, being on the other side, what it's like to not spend any money on that because of my minimalism practices and choosing to, for a period of time, for a couple of years, foregoing beauty standards and realizing that it did put a lot of money in my pocket. And this is not to excuse men. I do understand that men have a lot of other responsibilities, financial responsibilities that maybe women are excused from having. Men have this social stigma of having to be a provider that maybe not necessarily women need to partake in, but women also don't have it easy. Women are expected to be nurturing, home takers, while at the same time being like a boss babe. So I'm not trying to get into the whole social aspect. I'm just speaking from my own personal perspective and coming to this interesting crossroad of having had a lot more disposable income because I stopped beauty practices. Okay, number 2. Among this was I realized very early on in my career that I had to be responsible for my own finances. So actually, I'll say the turning point when this happened. When I read Rich Dad Poor Dad around the age of 21, there was a particular story in one of the chapters where Rich Dad was talking about a housewife who, they were like a well-off couple, and she discovered her husband was having an affair with a younger woman, and the husband left her, and at the time she was taken care of, but after they divorced she realized she herself had like no, I guess, money. I don't know if the book talked about alimony or not, but essentially the book was implying that like, although she had a great time while they were married, she didn't work, and so she had no financial cushion, and so when the man left her, she really didn't have any money. And that to me kind of,
not saying that because of that story it scarred me and I need to be financially stable,
but essentially I felt like if I could learn from somebody else's mistake, that would probably be something very smart to do. So because of that story, I told myself that I never want to be in a position where somebody else can walk away and it'll leave me disadvantaged. So I decided to pursue med school, and I always, to the best of my ability, try to go AA with my significant other to never be in a disadvantaged position. I know it's actually really popular on TikTok to play this whole narrative of like a stay-at-home wife, a stay-at-home girlfriend, the soft life, being taken care of. I definitely respect that, but I have just seen, you know, as a 30-something year old, that nothing is free in life. life, everything comes with a price and everything comes at a cost. You put yourself at risk for financial abuse. I'm not saying these men are out there financially abusing these women, but these women are trading in their best asset, which is their youth and their time, in exchange for, I guess, comfort. But to me, that seems like a poor exchange, because your time will run out and your youth will run out. And I wondered, what could I do that men do that would put me in a position so that I could have money too? I didn't want to keep being, I guess, female and being at a disadvantage, playing a victim. I told myself, just because I'm female doesn't mean that I need to be disadvantaged, because men are not cushioned. No one's going to come take care of a man. A man needs to hustle for his coin. So I told myself, I'm going to behave in the same way as a man and hustle for my own coin. And has it paid off? It has. I do not lack for money. At the end of the day, I also feel, because I took responsibility of my own finances, the price that I paid was freedom. My money is my money, and that is a really nice feeling. I'm not saying that these housewives are not taken care of. That is a choice that everybody makes, but that I decided for myself that that was a price that was too high, that I was not willing to pay. Okay, number 3. One of the interesting things that I also do that is different is that I buy myself my own stuff. Nobody buys men anything, and so at the same time, that also gives men a lot of strength. Knowing that you can buy yourself what you want, there is a lot of power in that. So I have always actually been one to always buy myself my own stuff. Not to say that I have not been gifted stuff. I have had wonderful partners in the past who have bought me nice things, but the things that I want, that I really want, I have bought myself, because I know at the end of the day that because men have hustled really hard to be able to buy the things that they want, because they know that nobody else is going to get it for them. So I decided to use that same narrative with myself. I decided to tell myself that anything that I want, if a man can hustle for it, I can hustle for it too. So there's nothing that I can't have, because I need to ask daddy for money or ask hubby for money. I don't have to ask anybody for it. I just have to ask myself, do I want it? And if I feel like I want it, then I just buy it for myself. And so that has been very freeing, knowing that I can buy myself whatever it is that I want. Okay, number 4, making money is my priority, my responsibility, and not his. So I feel very self-reliant, knowing that if I want to increase my earning potential, that is something that's within my own power. I don't have to worry that my significant other is or is not the type of man who can provide for me. I'm not busy judging him, wondering if he can do what I need him to do. I ask those things of me. I decided to be the man that I wanted. I discovered this quite earlier on. My first boyfriend was not a very educated individual, and in some ways I felt like the man in the relationship, and I just didn't feel very happy pushing on somebody to do this, to do that, when I just knew that they weren't there. So because of that relationship, I realized that it is important that anything that I want, I have to get for myself, and I don't need to rely on another man. And actually, the interesting that happened when I did better for me is that the partners that came after him were higher caliber, because I matched on that level with them. Like when I elevated myself, it opened up doors to better quality men. And I'd have to say that where I am, like I'm very happy with where I am, but my significant other definitely out earns me, but I lack for nothing because I have taken care of myself first. I realized that my financial state of being was my priority. So my significant other and I, we don't fight about money. We have never fought about money, actually, because there's nothing to fight about. There's no, you know the saying, like, happy wife, happy life. His responsibility isn't to take care of me or to make me happy. Like, that is my responsibility. So I ask nothing of him. Like, I don't nag him, I don't bother him, do this, do that. Like, if I cannot accomplish it, means that I don't have the ability to do it. I don't have any right to ask that of him. So being that self-reliant person has definitely helped me a lot. And if you want to talk therapy, then I think that seeing my parents constantly fight over money as immigrants was among one of the most damaging things that I had ever seen. And I promised myself that I was never going to do that. I was never going to ask of a man what I could not provide for myself. And if I couldn't reach that standard that I wanted, that's on me and not on him. And so I have to keep pushing harder. And it's been really nice, because everything that I am really grateful for all the help that's come along the way. But I know that primarily all of it was possible because I made it my priority and my responsibility only. Okay, number 5, realizing that his money is not your money. Maybe in traditional mindsets, there was this idea that the woman took care of the finances. His money was your money, and maybe things were different then. And I do know there are a lot of laws that protect women, that if there is a divorce, if you didn't sign a prenup, women do get a portion of money. There is a lot of legality, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to get into the whole mindset that I have, where I just think this idea that his money is not yours. My man's money is not my money. I mean, yes, he can be generous and treat me to this and that and whatever, but just generally speaking, I do not have access to go into his money and take whatever it is that I want and use it as if it was mine. I think that's financial abuse, to be completely honest. I don't agree with that. He earned that. That's his. Like, that is his to do with whatever he needs to do do, his own financial responsibilities. Like, that's not to say that we don't collectively do things together. There's a lot of things that we go AA on, and there's other things that he takes care of me because my man is, you know, a true provider. He's like an actual high quality man. But the thing is that for me, it was just really important that I feel like I never wanted to lie to myself and say that like my man's money is my money. That will create a lot of resentment in a relationship. And it's just like, think about it this way: would you feel happy if your man was taking your money or counting your chickens and eggs as if it was his? I don't know. I don't think, from two individuals who work, it's different when you want to provide and you want to give, but it being taken from you, or there being this expectation, just leaves like a bitter taste in everybody's mouth. And I just felt like I didn't want to create that kind of environment between my significant other and I. So because of that, I decided that I wanted to follow the notion that men just have money, realizing that his money is not my money. And since his money's not my money, then I'm gonna have to get out there and hustle. And it's actually really nice because now I know that I have the capacity to make the kind of money that I want. And nothing feels better than that. Nothing feels better than knowing that, like, girl, you got this. And I just want to disclaimer this. I am not trying to be braggy. I understand that there is a lot of statistics out there saying that women are disadvantaged and that women on the whole do make less than men. And there is a lot of glass ceiling for women. And it's actually because of that I was like, there's going to be a lot of disadvantages against me. Because of that, I need to get really good with my money because I am not in a privileged position. As a woman, I'm disadvantaged. So I'm gonna have to work and be really smart with my money to try to bridge that gap. So that is also something that I took into account, is that my starting point is extremely disadvantaged. Also, being a woman of color, I'm already losing. So because of that, I was like, I'm gonna have to get smart. I'm gonna have to get, you know, educated. I'm gonna have to read. I'm gonna have to learn about money, how money works, how the game works, how to build wealth, how to, you know, be wealthy as opposed to just rich. So all of these things have created the foundation as to why sometimes I say like men just have money, but I think that's because at the end of the day, nobody was gonna come save a man. And I thought to myself, well, you know what, I don't need saving either. So I hope that this video could provide a little bit of food for thought, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.